Yeah, I mean, as for the drama between them, like if what he's alleging is true, she sounds like an absolute nightmare. I mean, I get the impression that it's like a prima donna that's come in, tried to take over and hijack the movie, and when she didn't get her way, she brought her much richer, more successful, and powerful husband in to lay down the law.
Same PR rep who repped Johnny, who was behind this, Blake sort of saw that as, oh, you're trying to use an Amber Heard tactic, but she didn't even realize like that's not a good defense. That means you're guilty because Blake, Amber lied.
Initially, I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively. Then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously, and it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists. Now, spray gunning each other with as much dirt as they can.
Blake Lively, long celebrated as Hollywood's golden girl and once hailed as America's sweetheart, is now at the center of mounting speculation about a career crisis. Industry insiders report growing friction behind the scenes, with claims that the actress may have crossed professional lines, prompting co-stars to quietly distance themselves. At the same time, a potential lawsuit is reportedly in motion, threatening to escalate the situation further. What started as a highly anticipated passion project, Lively's adaptation of the best-selling novel It Ends With Us, has rapidly devolved into a swirl of accusations, legal tensions, and fractured relationships. The glossy sheen of Hollywood glamour is fading as the atmosphere shifts toward unease. Fans, media outlets, and studio insiders are closely watching as a once unshakable star faces a turning point marked by ambition, backlash, and controversy. Observers say the coming developments could be explosive.
Initially, I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively. Then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
Look, I went through the 160-page. Blake Lively is a complete nightmare. She has the audacity to call her husband and Taylor Swift her dragons.
Blake sort of saw that as, oh, you're trying to use an Amber Heard tactic, but she didn't even realize like that's not a good defense. That means you're guilty because Blake, Amber lied. Dropped a lawsuit with all his texts. Cherry-picked those texts, removed emojis and like intent and backstory to these texts.
Literally outright deleted certain sections of the text. Yes. It is so offensive and so ridiculous.
For years, Blake Lively was treated as one of Hollywood's untouchables. From her breakout as the fashionable lead of a hit television series to her seamless rise as a bankable film star, she cultivated an image of poise, charm, and public appeal, a celebrity who managed to stay clear of controversy. But the tide shifted with It Ends With Us. Excitement surged the moment it was revealed that Lively would not only headline the adaptation of the best-selling novel, but also serve as co-producer. Social media lit up with reactions, and insiders suggested the studio was confident it had a commercial success in the making. Anticipation climbed even higher when Justin Baldoni, another industry favorite, officially joined the production. However, behind the shimmer of premieres and carefully staged promotional content, early signs of strain began to surface. Reports emerged of creative disagreements and abrupt casting adjustments. Sources pointed to rising friction over artistic direction, production timelines, and conflicting visions for the film. What was initially promoted as a passion-fueled partnership soon evolved into a high-pressure environment marked by quiet disputes and mounting expectations. While audiences remained enchanted by the star power and aesthetics surrounding the project, the underlying tension suggested that even Hollywood's most celebrated figures are not shielded from the fallout of ambitious, big-budget filmmaking.
Imagine how many people in the past have been victim to the kind of stunts that Blake Lively and her husband have pulled, now apparently in conjunction with Taylor Swift, who has oddly decided to distance herself from the couple, which is an interesting development.
Early chatter about a rift between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni was largely brushed off by fans, who assumed the rumors were exaggerated. But within months, the situation has intensified into what some insiders now describe as potentially career-altering. A once unified production team has reportedly fractured into two sides, one aligning with Blake and her influential network, the other standing with Justin as he pushes back against claims he calls unfounded. The conflict erupted into the public eye when a sharply worded legal filing emerged, drawing widespread attention and fueling online debate. Behind the scenes, reports suggest Blake accused Justin of intentionally damaging her public image and engaging in covert tactics to undermine her professionally. What began as discreet internal tension has now escalated into a very public confrontation, forcing observers to confront larger questions about loyalty, influence, and control within the entertainment industry. As the fallout grows, both fans and industry watchers are monitoring developments closely, with many noting that the controversy now risks overshadowing the film at the center of it all.
Is this allowed? Like Blake Lively dropped a lawsuit with all his texts, cherry-picked those texts, removed emojis and like intent and backstory to these texts.
Literally outright deleted certain sections of the text.
For months, entertainment outlets painted Justin Baldoni as the antagonist, the ambitious director allegedly intent on eclipsing Blake Lively's spotlight. Headlines and social media chatter amplified the perception, with both fans and insiders pressing for explanations and directing blame toward Justin. The narrative gained credibility when select cast members appeared to publicly support Blake. The assumption was clear. She was the bigger name, and questioning her version of events seemed unlikely. Then the story took an unexpected turn. A countersuit filed by Justin's legal team alleged that Blake had engineered a calculated smear campaign. In the documents, he claimed that her high-powered publicist, Leslie Sloan, played a covert role in shaping him into Hollywood's latest scapegoat. The filing further suggested that some cast members may have publicly backed Blake, less out of solidarity and more out of concern over potential fallout if they didn't fall in line. What had started as whispered tension behind studio walls has now escalated into a headline-grabbing legal fight, revealing the precarious alliances, strategic maneuvering, and high-stakes politics simmering beneath Hollywood's polished exterior.
And the producer tried to harass this woman, this mad hatter who no sane man would go near with a 10-foot barge pole. It is so offensive. And
just when it seemed the controversy had hit its peak, the situation escalated dramatically. Justin Baldoni's countersuit wasn't merely a response to Blake Lively's allegations. It detonated the dispute with a stunning $400 million defamation claim that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Almost immediately, Blake's once untouchable public image began to show cracks. Fans and observers started asking a new question. Why would Justin take such a massive legal risk unless he believed he had solid grounds? Practically overnight, the story flipped, and the long-standing portrayal of Blake as the victim started to unravel. What began as whispers of on-set discord rapidly evolved into a high-stakes battle where each move by the central figures threatened to complicate the situation further. Evidence of the mounting pressure became visible in the shifting behavior of cast members, particularly Brendan Skeena and Isabella Farrer, who portrayed Atlas and the younger version of Blake's character, Lily in It Ends With Us. Early on, both actors appeared firmly aligned with Blake's camp. Brendan reposted an Instagram story referencing her complaint, complete with heart emojis, a subtle but powerful endorsement that fueled claims Justin was the source of the conflict. Isabella publicly praised Blake at the film's premiere, reinforcing the perception of united loyalty among the cast. But as time passed, subtle fractures appeared. Even minor changes in tone during interviews caught the attention of fans closely tracking the drama. Brendan, usually upbeat and candid, began dodging direct questions about the feud, opting for carefully scripted responses like, "I just want people to focus on why we made this movie," a line that sounded more like public relations strategy than personal conviction. Isabella's once effusive support gave way to a conspicuous quiet, signaling a move toward neutrality. And in Hollywood, silence can speak louder than any statement. Observers began to question whether new information behind closed doors had shifted loyalties. Questions quickly emerged about what caused the sudden shift in tone. Were cast members warned of legal consequences? Or did they simply realize that supporting Blake Lively might not be as risk-free as it once appeared? The turning point came during a talk show appearance, when the host directly asked Brendan to make his position clear. Was he Team Blake or Team Justin? His reply was measured to the point of discomfort. "I'm Team It Ends With Us." The comment managed to avoid taking sides while signaling that the once solid backing for Blake was no longer guaranteed. It marked a visible crack in the public narrative, underscoring just how quickly Hollywood loyalties can bend under pressure. And the uncertainty hasn't been limited to the cast. The entertainment industry thrives on image, alliances, and influence, and Blake Lively commands all three. With a marriage to Ryan Reynolds, one of the most commercially reliable actors in the business, and a highly publicized friendship with cultural icon Taylor Swift, her circle comes with undeniable clout. Supporting Blake can open doors. Challenging her can close them. For rising talents like Isabella Farrer and Brendan Skeena aligning with her early on looked like a savvy career move. Few would willingly risk social fallout from Swift's camp or pass up the chance to foster ties with someone in Reynolds' orbit. Justin, while respected and liked within Hollywood, simply doesn't wield the same pop culture pull. He can't offer front-row visibility at Fashion Week or guarantee a cameo in a blockbuster franchise. From the outside, backing Blake initially appeared practical, even beneficial. But as the legal battle intensified and the narrative shifted, what once looked like safety began to resemble risk, but Hollywood is nothing if not unpredictable. Once Justin Baldoni's countersuit went public, reportedly containing text messages, emails, and even possible audio recordings that challenged Blake Lively's version of events, the ground beneath her narrative began to shift. In an industry where perception can define a career overnight, the fear of looking misled, or worse, being associated with a false narrative, became a powerful motivator for those who had previously stood in her corner. At the center of the storm was Blake's longtime publicist, Leslie Sloan, a major force in Hollywood media strategy. According to the claims outlined in Justin's filing, Sloan allegedly played a strategic role in shaping the public narrative, working behind the scenes to cast Justin as the antagonist. The suit further suggests she may have used her influence to sway cast members, whether through subtle persuasion or direct pressure, to publicly support Blake's account. In an environment where career advancement often hinges on loyalty and proximity to power, the reach of an experienced publicist can make all the difference. And as the legal and public fallout intensified, the question shifted from who was right to who could withstand the consequences of picking the wrong side. Leslie Sloan's alleged involvement didn't just escalate the dispute. It underscored the influence of behind-the-scenes power players who shape how stories are told and how careers rise or fall. From celebrity alliances and media spin to social platform optics and legal maneuvers, the controversy has become a case study in how quickly Hollywood dynamics can shift. What started as a high-profile win, a major adaptation of a best-selling novel with top-billing stars, has turned into a volatile clash defined by loyalty, status, and strategic influence. In an industry where reputation is currency and a single misstep can trigger long-term fallout, even A-listers are vulnerable to scrutiny, fractured alliances, and the unforgiving machinery of public perception. The unfolding drama around Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and the It Ends With Us cast serves as a stark reminder. In Hollywood, image is everything, and every headline is backed by a web of influence, PR maneuvering, and calculated risk. Blake Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, has long been regarded as one of the industry's most formidable fixers, the kind of media strategist who can shut down damaging rumors with a single strategic call. Known for managing crises for major stars, she's often the first person Hollywood elites turn to when problems arise. But according to claims in Justin Baldoni's countersuit, her role allegedly extended far beyond traditional damage control. The filing accuses Sloan of not just responding to controversy, but actively engineering it. Justin claims she orchestrated a deliberate smear effort aimed at discrediting him before he could challenge Blake's narrative, alleging that blind items, tabloid reports, and planted stories were strategically deployed to brand him as difficult and toxic. The lawsuit further suggests that emails show Sloan encouraging cast and crew members to distance themselves from him, warning of negative consequences for anyone seen supporting him. While the validity of these accusations remains to be tested in court, reports that Sloan is now attempting to distance herself from the legal dispute have only fueled speculation about her involvement. Sloan has reportedly filed motions seeking to avoid being pulled into a full-scale defamation trial, a move that signals just how high the stakes may be. When a strategist with her level of experience tries to step back, it suggests that damaging information or credible evidence could soon surface, potentially putting not only her reputation at risk, but that of her clients as well. One of the most troubling elements of the dispute is the suggestion that the conflict may be supported by concrete proof, alleged screenshots, recordings, and conflicting statements that reveal a glaring disconnect between public claims and private communication. Consider Isabella Farrer. Not long after completing her scenes, she reportedly sent Justin a message praising his direction and saying she felt safe and supported on set. Yet soon afterward, she appeared to back claims that he cultivated a hostile environment. Was this a true change of perspective, or did outside influence shape her public stance? Brendan Skeener's shift has also fueled speculation. Once an outspoken supporter of Blake, he went from reposting her legal complaint with heart emojis to avoiding even mentioning her in interviews. Observers are now asking whether he's seen the evidence Justin's legal team claims to possess, or if he's simply afraid of legal consequences tied to choosing the wrong side. With few insiders willing to speak on the record, the truth remains uncertain, and the scrutiny is only growing. As the legal showdown escalates, anticipation is building. Insiders claim Justin's attorneys may be holding a smoking gun, a piece of evidence powerful enough to reshape the entire narrative. If those rumors hold weight, the question becomes whether Blake's team will attempt to settle the matter quietly before anything reaches a courtroom. Initially, public opinion leaned decisively toward Blake. She was the adored Hollywood figure with no history of scandal. Why would she need to invent anything? Social media rallied in her favor. Hashtags condemning Justin spread rapidly, and in the court of public opinion, he was judged long before any legal authority weighed in. But Justin Baldoni made it clear he had no intention of going down quietly. He began releasing select pieces of evidence, not enough to reveal everything, but enough to raise serious doubts about Blake Lively's account. Slowly, the public mood shifted. Industry insiders, from background crew to established directors, began sharing accounts of Justin's professionalism, philanthropy, and reputation for treating colleagues well. Fans who had once condemned him without hesitation suddenly weren't so sure. Had they been too quick to judge? Were they swayed by strategic headlines and orchestrated PR narratives? The conversation shifted from "believe Blake, no questions asked" to "maybe Justin has a case." Blake's team scrambled to regain control, filing motions to dismiss the countersuit as baseless and accusing Justin of trying to rewrite the story. But as cast members distanced themselves and insiders backed away from her camp, her footing became less certain. Rumors swirled that more A-listers could be drawn into the legal battle, turning the controversy into something akin to a ticking bomb. The stakes now reach far beyond the box office performance of It Ends With Us. If Justin prevails in his defamation claim, or if solid proof of a smear campaign surfaces, Blake's once unblemished public image could suffer permanent damage. She could lose major roles, alienate fans, and jeopardize endorsements. Justin, meanwhile, faces his own high-risk trajectory. A courtroom defeat could mean professional exile, while even a victory comes with immense financial strain and the challenge of navigating Hollywood after going up against an A-list figure. Supporting cast members like Brendan Skeena and Isabella Farrer are also caught in the fallout. If evidence shows they initially backed Blake for self-serving reasons, they could be seen as opportunistic and lose audience support. If it turns out their doubts about Justin were misplaced, they risk alienating the growing contingent now sympathetic to him. In short, everyone entangled in the dispute stands to lose something. As the scandal widens, one question overshadows the rest. How much more explosive can it get? With unreleased evidence, powerful reputations, and high-level industry politics in play, the consequences could ripple through careers, fandoms, and Hollywood's already fragile sense of loyalty. And at the center of it all is Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively's longtime publicist and one of Hollywood's most formidable fixers. Known for shutting down scandals before they reach daylight, she has managed media crises for some of the biggest names in entertainment. Now, her role in this unfolding saga may prove more consequential than anyone anticipated. In Hollywood, when a crisis hits, Leslie Sloan is typically the first call. But according to Justin Baldoni's countersuit, her alleged involvement went far beyond standard damage control. Justin claims she wasn't simply managing fallout, she was orchestrating it. The filing accuses Sloan of directing a targeted smear campaign against him before he could publicly counter Blake Lively's version of events. Reported email exchanges suggest she urged cast and crew to distance themselves from Justin and circulated claims that supporting him could be professionally risky. If Sloan is compelled to testify, and any part of this alleged strategy is substantiated, her long-standing reputation as Hollywood's go-to fixer could take a serious hit. Industry insiders warn that high-profile clients may start reconsidering their association with her, wary of potential backlash. The legal fight, by all indications, is gaining traction. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds recently filed a motion to dismiss Justin's $400 million defamation suit, a move that was reportedly met with a strong response from his legal team. Attorneys watching the case point out that judges rarely throw out defamation claims if the plaintiff can produce even minimal evidence, and Baldoni is believed to have far more than that. Reports indicate that emails, phone transcripts, and witnesses prepared to testify under oath are in play, raising the stakes significantly. Compounding the tension are claims that Blake has suggested she may refuse to sit for a deposition if certain attorneys are present, a stance that legal experts immediately flagged as problematic. In civil litigation, parties don't get to choose who is in the room, and refusal to comply could trigger sanctions or even result in a default judgment. If the case proceeds to depositions, it could lead to a rare level of transparency in an industry built on controlled narratives and carefully curated public images. And with both legal reputations and star power on the line, the outcome could reshape more than just the public perception of those involved. Recorded transcripts could place Blake face-to-face with Justin's attorneys, forcing her to address every alleged contradiction. Any questionable DM, text message, or PR email pointing to a coordinated campaign against Justin could enter the public record. And the fallout might not stop with the main players. High-profile figures like Ryan Reynolds, or even Taylor Swift, given their close connection to Blake, could be pulled in as character references or peripheral witnesses. What began as a contained legal battle could erupt into a pop culture shockwave, rocking fan bases across the globe. Two outcomes loom. One is a quiet settlement, a behind-the-scenes agreement designed to bury the mess and keep the most damaging details sealed. Blake could sidestep the worst of the fallout, but the public would be left questioning what was hidden and why. The other route is a full-scale trial that could drag on for months or even years. In that scenario, the entire cast of It Ends With Us might be subpoenaed, offering unprecedented insight into Hollywood's inner machinery and the making of the film itself. Real-time courtroom coverage could dismantle the industry's glossy veneer one revelation at a time. Even the film's fate hangs in the balance. The scandal might overshadow its release, turning audiences away, or do the opposite, driving curiosity and viewership from people eager to watch the movie at the center of the feud. Reputations are the true currency at stake. If Justin's allegations are upheld, he could re-emerge as a wronged figure who stood up to one of Hollywood's most powerful names. If Blake is absolved, her image as a flawless, untouchable industry favorite would solidify. Co-stars, secondary cast members, and PR insiders will be left to navigate the debris, each decision scrutinized as the public chooses its heroes and villains. Fans are already split. Some remain fiercely loyal to Blake, convinced she's the victim of manufactured outrage. Others see Justin as a target of a calculated takedown. And questions swirl: is Blake hiding behind a perfectly crafted public persona? Has Justin built a story too compelling for Hollywood to dismiss? Are Brendan Skinner, Isabella Farah, and others genuinely conflicted, or merely calculating their survival in a no-win situation? What's certain is that the saga is nowhere near its conclusion. With a $400 million lawsuit in motion, allegations of coordinated defamation, and rumored evidence waiting to drop, the drama surrounding It Ends With Us has morphed into a real-life Hollywood thriller. Industry insiders and fans alike are bracing for whatever comes next. The revelations ahead could redefine public perception, alter careers, and set lasting precedents on how reputation, influence, and power collide in Tinseltown. Buckle up. This is shaping up to be one of the most consequential Hollywood scandals in years. Whether Blake protects her legacy or Justin is vindicated in court, one truth is already clear: nobody walks away untouched, and the next chapter will be even messier, louder, and harder to ignore.